Um, yeah, the creative quotient. I listened to a short video by a guy called Benjamin Fulford, and every once in a while I'll go listen to hear to see what Benji has to say. And so I left him a comment yesterday about the movie that I may have mentioned to you folks. That how messages are sent between different lines of seeded races through movies, classified ads. It's almost like knowing where to find it, and then you get it at the moment that you experience it. I got it. Okay. Now there's silent communication, encrypted communication that doesn't come through those formats. So we know what formatting a drive is, right? Like defrag and crystal soul fragments, pulling them all back into the whole to experience being whole again, to experience being fully integrated with the core, the eternal echo core, the Sylvan Gourmet Ruche, right? 445-degree angles. 180 and 180 is 360, which is 9 again, which is 18, and that's 9 again. So the prime numbers are pretty simple as to visual mathematical displays. A cathode ray lava tube, like a lava vent, cooling towers, right? Cooling towers. So I had a lot of fun moving through time and space, if you will, vectors, arcing vectors at a very high rate of speed because of everything that I was experiencing, from which I was learning to rebuild at the highest rate of speed possible. So if you went back and looked at all the different places that I went, all the different jobs that I had that were all temporary, I was only there long enough to learn what I needed to learn at the speed at which I was learning. Like I was a plumber. I worked in air conditioning and, in other words, cooling systems, hot and cold water, hot and cold pressure. Working with those systems, right? Why I went right directly into hydraulics, right? Fire and water, burn patterns, sounding like consciousness, experiencing perfect structural, engineering, spiritual integrity, to experience being one, an integrated circle of fire. Breathing a circle of fire, breathing an eternal core, right? No dirty electricity, no dirty patterns, no bent plates. In other words, that's perfect structural precision, high precision. High precision timing is no errors, which means there's no errors in the programming. There's no errors in the crystal structural integrity because it's a clear signal. The radio waves are perfect because they're all equal to each other. So one point and another point and one point and another point, we're all experiencing the exact center point. So when you have 12 spheres from one point to another point to another point to another point, we're all experiencing the transmission at the same point of time, which is no time. So each point is equal to every other point that is experiencing the line of communication, because the first line of communication is first voltage line of communication, which is the unity wave, which is the crystal wave. That's how simple that is. Yeah, and so when you have 12, you have 1 times 2, and you have 1 plus 2 as mathematical operations. So holograms are mathematical grids. So it starts with simple complex number space, which is simple complex numbers, 999, right? And then you start over again so that the patterns are all equal to each other. The sound and light burn patterns are equal to each other. So that's why when they put little insignias and labels on me, I put those labels in a locker and put it away so that if somebody showed up at the fire station, they had no idea what rank I was. Okay, I looked just like the other guys that are walking around. Some of them wore their ranks, but when they saw me, they wouldn't know that I was appointed as a captain, but they don't know that when they meet me. I just look like a regular firefighter, just another boot fireman. I'm just wearing a set of turnout pants, turnout boots, a white 100% cotton t-shirt, and that's it. So you just see, I see you, you see me, right? And so now, which is no hierarchy. That's what equal is, being equal, equally present, a present moment. And so Benjamin mentioned something about quarantine. There was the word quarantine popped up about being relaxed. And that was echoed in a movie in 1954 called Killers from Space. So you have inner space, the inner domains, the inner doorway to Asia into Dore, door one, the first line, the first crystal wave line of communication, the core, the eternal core, the silver gold-mated core. And how these messages are sort of encrypted, embedded. In other words, you could watch the whole movie, but it was only that one script as a transcript, as transcription, absorption, exhalation. When somebody who was part of the Air Force and the military, and a doctor there with the military that said to the patient who was a doctor in nuclear science, right, that we're going to quarantine you if you can't relax. Whoa. Yeah, so I left that for Benjamin Fulford. So that message was encrypted in that movie in 1954. Which means the numbers don't lie. Why 1954? Why was that movie released at the exact moment it was released? Just like when I put a classified ad in the newspaper online over the island up the road, and I got a response. And what's his name? Oli Damagard does a really good job of covering how these communications, like signals, symbols, visual mathematical symbols, may be only one little speck in that picture that's there. It was meant for me to experience as a communication, how the intelligence agencies communicate with one another, right? Through symbols, visual mathematical symbols, if you will, the geometric form and flow, the shape. What does it look like? What shape is it? Right? And so this is just another file share of what I learned through the experiences from one moment to the next, one completion of a circuit to the next, why we're all here. Back again, like a gain of function on a radio, the gain of mathematical function, gain of speed, right? Amping, balance, atmospheric balance, psi-coded neutrinos, naturally gifting electrons to experience perfect balance, which is equal sharing, which is equal distribution, which is equal distance. So there's no separation. That's right, there is no separation from the source field, the source of all electrical power. And so that's what they drain. And so we know why they do that. Power takers and power givers. Love and service to others. That's what the law is, which is giving away electrical power for free. And how that directly relates to the creative quotient, how creative we are. And how that directly relates to what Benjamin Fulford said about predictive programming and the quantum vampiric probability function, or what's known as Bardo, which has everything to do with what? Recovery speed. The speed at which you can recover what it is that you remember. The one, the eternal one, the ancient one, experiencing what love is. And so it doesn't have any feelings. It doesn't have the capacity to feel love. So what happens is as we increase the amount of love that is flowing through the circuits, what does it do? It increases its resistance to experience that, which is to experience more mass. And so the evidence of that has been the videos that I produced by the people that I met while living in this house and how they react to that. See, is to be more acid, right? And so you know what happens with that, compressing nucleotides and becoming what I call a hazardous waste storage bin. Right now that becomes an IMP weapon. Now I'm experiencing what they're experiencing. Now I'm experiencing all the miasma, dirty electricity, because of what they process through their cells to slow their speed down and clog those circuits up with junk, poisons, right? Because they were poisoning everything. All the waterways, the pathways, the spiritual pathways of the absorption factor and the burn time. Burn it off. So it has everything to do with what we choose to run through our cellular processors, the speed at which we're able to burn it off. P4, the fertilizer treatment, a pure star, an eternal star, the voltage factor, the mathematical factor, the elemental command circuitry, elemental ions, the command authority, which is the author. So what that means, Benji, is that you cannot predict what an eternal sun is going to choose to create next because it's faster. It's already happened. That's what no time is. That means they can't change it because that's eternity. They can't change the mind of an eternal sun, the eternal mind of a creative mind that is experiencing the eternal grand creator. You can't change the mind of the grand creator. You can't change eternity. Eternity is what eternity does because love is what love does, and that is a creative engine, which is a creative mind. That is the heart and soul of the grand creator spirit, the one I serve, the Seven Gourmet Ruche. That's the truth of it. I hope you are all feeling better. I hope you're all feeling calmer so that we're experiencing less damage and less compression on our nerves, less pressure on our nerves, and experiencing a greater expansion, right, of sound and light burn times, the crystal core. Mueva Aya.